We are live. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another video. I am Nina, and today we're going to be discussing a topic that is a pretty deep one, I think, compared to most of the topics that I've covered on this channel. And that is how to attract the life you desire by investing in yourself. So let's jump straight into it. I just want to define what I mean by investing in yourself. A lot of people, and that's what this video is about, a lot of people think that investing in yourself is about money, it's about going shopping, getting a makeover, revamping yourself, and all of that kind of stuff. And while that sounds really great and amazing, and I'm not saying don't go shopping, I would never say don't go shopping. But that is not the only way that you can invest in yourself. There are so many things that you can do today to put back into yourself and grow yourself. Okay, and that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. All right, so number one way that you can invest into yourself and ultimately attract the life that you desire is you can build up knowledge. This is one of the most slept on resources. Everybody has access to knowledge, but people just don't want to invest. I don't know why. And knowledge comes in so many different forms. It can come in the form of a book, a course, a life coach, a video, an expert in that field. There are so many ways to access knowledge. Okay, so that is something that you really need to take time out to do if you want to improve your life and if you want to experience the kind of life that you desire much quicker. So, say for example, you really want to live on a private island. Okay, that is your deepest desire. How do you attract that? Well, if you have no idea what it requires to live on an island, what the conditions may be like, what different islands are like, and on and on and on and on, then you cannot get anywhere near your desire, right? So, but the more you read about about knowledge, sorry, I have my notes in front of me. So, the more you read about private islands and owning a private island, the more you can actually visualize in reality what it's going to be like. The more you seek out people that have owned their own private islands and maybe have created courses or will coach you, or they've written books as these experts, you know, gain access to that. If it costs you a little bit, buy it, But a lot of knowledge nowadays, is totally free. Totally free because of all of these online platforms that we have. So it's really worth investing in knowledge. Whichever way you invest, it's really worth investing in knowledge because it'll put you that much closer to your goals, not just by giving you the actual step-by-step way to get there, but by putting in your mind the realistic picture of what your desire actually looks like in real life. Okay, so get you some knowledge. Number two way that you can invest in yourself and quickly attract the life that you desire is by investing time into yourself. Now, a lot of us, especially in this culture of, putting everybody ahead of you, and especially if you are a woman, this is automatically expected of you. We, a lot of the times, do not take time for ourselves and our goals and the life that we desire. But if we don't invest time and carve out time for ourselves, we can kiss our goals goodbye. Okay. So you need time out, not just for yourself. Now, once again, when people hear invest time into yourself, they think, cute, pretty things like taking bubble baths and getting a manicure and a pedicure and all of that kind of stuff. And that is extremely important. Once again, I will never tell you to not get a manicure, but that's not the only way that you can invest time into yourself. You need time to apply the knowledge that you have gained. Knowledge is nothing if you haven't applied it. You can have all the knowledge in the world. If you're sitting around doing nothing about it, you might as well not have it. I think there's a saying, and I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it says, I think it's Mark Twain that said, the man that does not read is no better than the man that cannot read. So it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. If you're not taking time to apply it, you might as well not have it. In fact, you're probably better off not having it. Okay? So you need time to apply your new knowledge. You need time for it to make sense. You need time to try it out and try it out and try it out and try it out. You need time to practice your new skill and perfect it. When you learn about buying a private island or owning or running or whatever a private island, and you know the intricacies of it from A to B, but now you have to take the time out, right? So if it took you a year to learn about how to acquire a private island, how many more years do you probably have to invest in actually applying all of this knowledge? So you have to perfect certain things. So you might have to do maybe a couple of real estate deals. Maybe you have to sell a couple of private islands and learn how that works. You're not going to sell the very first private island that you list, for example, or you're not going to get the very first deal that you embark on. You're not going to fall in love with the very first island that you see. You're not going to qualify for the very first island that you fell in love with. Like there's so much in, the journey before you get to the destination. And that's what it means to invest time in yourself. What you're saying is, if it takes me a year or if it takes me 10 years, I'm willing to commit those years into the pursuit of this goal. And I'm willing to do all of that with the understanding that this will satisfy and gratify me. Now, it may sound very selfish and whatever, but at some point you have to really prioritize yourself and your goals, because if you don't, trust me, nobody's going to prioritize you. That's just the way of the world. It is your responsibility. So you have to put your goals up there and say, if it takes me a year, if it takes me 10 years, I don't care. I will take as much time as I need to make sure that I realize this goal. And another way of investing time into yourself to attract the life that you desire is to delay your gratification. Now, I'm very guilty of this. I am very much an instant gratification kind of girl, but it also depends on the context, right? But delaying gratification doesn't always look like not buying something today so that you can buy something bigger tomorrow, or not eating something today so that you can eat something bigger tomorrow. That does count. But the biggest part of delaying your gratification is saying, all right, I'm going to work in silence doing what I need to do. So, for example, I'm just going to put the private island analogy aside, and I'm going to pick up the makeup analogy. When lockdown started, I was like, okay, one of the things I'm going to do, however long this lockdown takes, is I'm going to perfect my makeup. And even though no one is going to see it, but I'm going to do it religiously until I get it so good that by the time people do see it, it's going to look 100 times better than it does right now. That was my commitment to myself. And for about a year, because that's almost how long we were in lockdown, about 9 months, I did nothing other than wake up every morning. Well, not nothing, but I made sure that if all else fails, I wake up every morning, I, put on my makeup, I try out this makeup look. I had a makeup schedule. That's how seriously I took this. I had a schedule of when I'm going to do which makeup look and on and on and on. And a lot of the times, nobody saw that. Nobody saw that because we're sitting at home, right? And but what that meant is today, if I have to go on a date, if I have to run errands, if I have to do a video, if I have to go into the office, whatever I need to do, I don't have to sit and Google makeup looks. I already have like my top 3, 4, 5 that I already know are my go-to, right? So the time that I invested in the previous year, I am now reaping the rewards of it. That is the delayed gratification that I'm talking about. So the more time you invest doing the groundwork in the back with nobody watching, the easier it's going to be when you come out and people are like, oh, wow, when did you learn that? Oh, I've just been working on it in my spare time. You're investing in yourself because at the end of the day, I feel pretty, I look pretty, I did this for myself. It took me a year to really get to this point, and it's going to take me more time to get even further, right? But every day that I commit to this goal, I'm moving closer to the ultimate life that I desire, right? So that's how you invest time in yourself. Do things and practice things that are in line with your ultimate goal. Okay. Then space. That is the third way that you can invest in yourself to attract the life that you desire quicker. Now, what do I mean about space? Space means not necessarily your physical space, even though that is very important. Having your physical space in order will really help you because when you feel relaxed in your space, you're more likely to be productive when you need to be, right? But going beyond that, now I'm talking mental space, okay? Invest in your mental space. What does that look like? That could look like therapy. That could, once again, go back to knowledge, look like getting some knowledge, reading some books, signing up for some courses, signing up for some coaching, all of that kind of stuff. But it also looks like being choosy about the people and the company that you keep, because that is one thing that is going to affect your mental space more than all the books that you could read. The people that you keep close to you are going to have more of an impact on you than anything else that you get involved in. And the reason why is the people closest to you that are spending more time with you are sharing ideas with you. Those ideas start morphing into thoughts and start morphing into ideas of your own. How many times have you sat in your adult years after not living with your parents, and you can still, when you want to make certain decisions, you still almost hear your parents' voice in your head? That's called influence, and that's how influential people are. That's why the people that you keep close to you really have to screen and vet and monitor, because their thoughts become your thoughts, their habits become your habits. Okay, their reputation becomes your reputation. So you have to be very selective, because going back to the analogy of a private island, you want to own a private island, right? But you're keeping the company of people that aren't even in a position to buy a house, right? Now, that's not to say they'll never be in this position, but what I'm saying is the kind of conversations you're going to have with these people are not even going to correlate, because you're talking about owning a private island, something very few people even think about. And this person cannot even imagine themselves owning a house. Do you see how many worlds apart you really are? And that can create a lot of animosity to a point where your dreams are starting to be attacked directly by your friends and the people that are close to you. And it's not them being horrible people, it's just human instinct, right? You're making them feel less than, they're defending themselves, they're defending their honor. Okay? So that's how they say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Because the people that you are around, if they're not building you up, they're going to drain you. Nothing in life is um, static, everything is dynamic. So the tide is either coming in or the tide is going out. The tide is never just chilling. Okay? It's either coming in or it's going out. People are either adding to you or they're draining you. So watch the company that you keep because you need to protect that mental space. And then learn to do stuff by yourself. This, I think, is especially important if you have a roommate or if you're in a relationship or if you have children. Learn to carve out space to have something of your own. If that looks like a getaway by yourself once a month, do that. Invest in that space for yourself. Whether it's a hobby that you and only you take part in, do that. If it's something as simple as just taking a walk by yourself, do that. Make sure you're safe. But if that's what it takes, then do that. But have something that you do by yourself that puts you, something that you enjoy, that will put you in the mood that you like to be in, right? That'll put you in the space that you like to be in. And that'll put you in a space where if there are things that you need to kind of think about or figure out or whatever, you have the space to do so. Okay. So you need to kind of invest space into yourself because that's how you kind of replenish your resources, your energy. And you need to do that quite frequently if you're going to get closer to your goals. You need that emotional capacity and foundation within yourself in order to be able to achieve your goals. And then in that space, maybe you take a long bubble bath or, you go on a little mini vacation on your own, or you taking part in your little hobby by yourself, or you going to take a walk around the park, or whatever the case might be. Take time to also journal your thoughts. So keep a diary. Like there's so many really nice diaries that you can and journals that you can buy. Like for me, this is a typical, me style. But keep a journal where you really just write down all your thoughts because that helps you to kind of pour out the excess stuff. There's stuff that is just for you. There's lots of stuff that's just for you. It's not for, the world. It's just for you. Keep it to yourself. Journal it. Just pour it out. And once it's out, then it's not going to be boiling and bubbling and waiting to come out at the first available opportunity. That, again, gives you mental space. Now you can process other things and invest your energy into other things instead of these thoughts that are just buzzing around in your head. Okay, so keep a journal, write down if you feel like you need to write down stuff to create that mental space. And then another really beautiful way that you can invest in yourself and attract the life that you desire much quicker is to plan ahead. This is also related to giving yourself space. When you plan ahead, you allow yourself that space to make things happen, to make the decisions, to change the course if you need to reflect and make sure you're still on the right path, Plan ahead. If you don't plan ahead, you are basically constantly going to be putting out fires. You're waiting for things to happen and then only do you react. You need to be a little bit more proactive. Okay, so back to our analogy, you want your private island, you need to think backwards. All right, so I'm probably, according to my research, I'm probably only going to be able to really get my private island after 7 to 10 years. Okay, so 7 to 10 years from now, I'm buying my island. That means 2 years prior to that, I have already started earning X, Y, and Z so that my bank profile and my credit profile already reflects all of that. And then if we work backwards from that, then that means by that time I should have done this and this and this. That's what's going to help me to earn that. So, which means today I need to sign up for this, or I need to commit to that, or I need to start adding this. Then you plan ahead. Then a year from now, you're like, oh, well, I'm a year behind schedule or I'm a year ahead of schedule. Okay, this is great. So plan A is still da 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 da, but if we finish 2 years prior, then plan B might just be. And if we finish a year later, then plan C might just have to be da 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 da. And then 3 years later, you're back looking again. Okay, this is how far we are. We might need to adjust this because things have changed, and now these are the new rules and regulations, or whatever the case might be. But if you're like, okay, I, I'm not going to do any research, I'm just going to save, 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 and you might be able to save. And then when you're ready to actually buy your private island, you've saved up your millions, and you get them, they're like, oh, sorry, these are all the requirements and regulations and whatever. And you still need another 2 years to get all of that in order. You've done yourself a disservice. So plan ahead, find out what it is that you're going to need, start putting it together today, even when the goal seems ridiculous. But start putting it all together today. And just do it quietly. You don't have to tell anybody, you don't have to convince anybody but yourself. You just sit and just quietly put the pieces of the puzzle together. And before you know it, all of that time has passed anyway. And if you were vigilant and consistent, then you just see your goals flourishing. Okay. So that is my 2 cents about the different ways that you can invest in yourself to attract the life that you desire. Give it a thumbs up if it resonated with you. Share, subscribe, do all the right things. And if there's anything else that you feel like you would like to add to this list, add that in the comments below so we can get the conversation flowing. And I will see you, beautiful people, in the next video. All right? So take care of yourself. Bye-bye.